Where you pen? What tribe?
They are Igede.
Oh, that's like the Audi of Nigeria.
Benway
So
State.
The Lidl of Nigeria. That's cool.
Hey!
Boom. No, let's start again. No, let's stay there. Okay, today we've got a good video. We've got my boy Paul Olima. We used to play rugby together. Funny guy. We've got Mr. One Liner himself, Gabriel. We've got man like Hacks Finest. And we've got Big Jaheem, the man child. Today's video, yeah, it's gonna be jokes.
You come and brought this whole kid to come and train. You know what? I don't know why he's even here. Can no shorts get any tighter though?
Hey, what's he saying? Hey! Don't worry!
He didn't even tell us they're tired, though. Hey, man came with...
Jaheem, let me know, come on.
He came with chest day.
Show legs.
Hey, what's happening, bro? Why are they hating on them? Why are they hating you?
I don't like how this guy came in shorts though.
No, mate, I always wear shorts. I can't train.
Like, he really, like, this is our domain. He's come to try and rule. Yeah, these guys come to try and rule, yeah? The Black Panthers turn back. Alright. Okay. We'll do this today. No, when he's doing his bench, I'm going to put a bit of weight on the top. You know what it was? No, you just spotted him just... Yeah. You good, bro. You got it.
That's gonna
Trust me.
What do you lift? What's your max?
From max and what?
Bench.
185.
Fucking brilliant. What age are you?
I'm 90.
Jesus Christ, you've got the world on your shoulders, don't you? Have you ever thought of doing any like sports? Like, do you do any sports or you just
No, I just try boxing now.
fucking shot put or something? Are you stupid? Shot put, you know?
That's you know he's not from England. You know he's from Dublin. Shot put.
That's so random.
You are like American football. Get the money.
That's it. Shot put, you know. Of all the sports possible.
Hey, James, come collect the beef. It's a shot put.
I don't bring no
Hey, it's not about beef. Why is it always about beef with these people, man? I live in Putney. There's no beef in Putney, man. Don't worry. They're from the shot put at the car, you know.
This guy came from all the way from Dublin. He came to London to live in Putney. So let me ask you a question now.
Go on, then.
So living in Dublin,
Yeah.
it's gonna be fair to say that you're probably a minority in that.
Only one.
Only one.
Where
Yeah.
are we, Franco?
Yeah?
When we were growing up, I didn't see any black people, just
Any black
myself.
people.
Some
Now-
family.
We've all seen that video that's flying around with the bouncer.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
Now, to racism, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that some of it's covert, some of it's overt. I mean, some's in your face, some's not in your face.
Yeah.
Now, would you go as far as saying that your life in Dublin, what was it like in the sense of you being a minority, being maybe the only one?
Yeah,
Did you feel that you had to adapt? Did you feel that you could be yourself?
No, so I was horrible. So when I grew up as a kid, when I was around 5 or 6, I think the first time somebody called me a nigger and it hurt. But I didn't do it, and I went home. My dad, rest in peace. He said that I could, if anybody ever says that, attack. So from then on, you can ask my brothers and all, I've just been beating people up. So my whole upbringing in Ireland, I had like a group of lads that were pretty rough.
Yeah.
I lived in an area called Blanchardstown. It was a real rough area. My mates were the roughest lads, and they loved me because I was really good at football. People wanted to hang around with me because I was really good at sports. But I used to, let's say went to a group and people be looking like, you know what I mean? So for me to get my dominance, I needed to go, what are you looking at? Start a fight, make them fight me, and then that's the only way that I
Would you say that from growing up, would you say that racism is taught? Would you say it's inherent? Would you say racism, because, okay, let me go back. Let's use the word prejudice first. Because I like to say there's two separate things of racism and prejudice. Would you go as far as saying that we're all born with some form of prejudice?
Yeah.
Or would you say that's inherent in all of us?
I'd say everybody does. I think, well, for me, I'm not a racist, but I'd say something like if somebody, it must be an Irish thing, like if somebody from China or something came past me in a car, the first thing I'd say, and I'd be like, what did I say that for? Do you know what I mean? And I remember, like, my best mates, this is the part that I knew something was wrong. A black person would do something to one of my best mates, I'd be sitting in the car and they go, that black, and I'd be like, what the do you know what I mean? So it's like, I'm like, you're my best, you know what I mean? Like, what the
I find interesting though, I find interesting is that behind closed doors, I think there's a lot of things that we know we say we shouldn't say.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? It's just that no one's got a tape recorder listening to what they're saying, and no one's saying it. Because there's certain things that I've said.
Yeah, that's what I mean about this Chinese thing.
I've said certain things. And even when we look at culture, for instance, now, I don't know how to word this, so I'm trying to be as PC as possible. Look, when you look at racism, yeah, I always say that there's got to be certain ingredients for it. And I always say that as much as we say if someone calls someone a nigger or a cracker or a honker, we say that's racist. I wouldn't call that racist. I just call that prejudice. What I consider racism to be is when you have prejudice plus the social power to actually make change. Okay. So for instance, when you subjugate a whole set of people, that to me is what racism is. So for instance, when you can say that you as a black person, we're going to subjugate you for 400 or 500 years and you're not going to prosper or benefit. That to me is what I classify as racism.
Yeah, so what you're saying is perfect for me. Ireland is not racist. Prejudice, I think what you said may be that, but they wanted me to win. Do you know what I mean? Like, and even now when I'm over here, like it's Ireland that are Paul from Ireland, do you know what I mean?
Or was you the token black guy?
Yeah, everywhere. I was the only one. I was the only one.
And did you feel that you had to? Did you feel that you had to appease a certain? So, for instance, you're a big guy. Let me see how big you are. No,
massive, but don't worry. Jaheem, tell them, bro. You know when you get to our size, Jaheem, tell them.
He's strong. So I'm gonna assume that you was the token black guy.
Yeah,
did you feel that being a big black guy that you had to kind of appease people, or almost like it was almost like, oh, he's a cool black kid. Now he's a cool one. He is. He's alright, Benga.
Yeah.
Hey, what's your name again?
Paul. Yeah.
I got a friend called Kunle. Do you know him?
Yeah, man.
Did you get that one?
Yeah.
I got a black mate.
What would you think here? Your life would have been like if you didn't play sports. How would they have treated
So
you?
we can continue. Who's
You're saying.
Yeah, much harder. If I wasn't really good at sports, then people wouldn't knock around to my door as much. When I was a kid, because I was really good at football, everybody wanted to be in my house. You know what I mean? And then because I was beating people up, then all my mates. When Franco, like, wasn't it? There's me little brother there. He can tell you because I was beating people up. People were like Paul will do it. Do you know what I mean? So then if my mates got in trouble, then they'd get me. But then it got to a stage where I was getting in more trouble, so I needed people to help. Do you know what I mean? So it was just fucking. It's a weird world. It's weird. I don't. The more I look back at it, the more I think, oh shit, that's wrong.
Remember we was talking about in school. You was talking about the Jeromes and blah blah blah, and someone was saying that it's funny how. So Lin May took that clipping and posted it on her page today. And she was saying that it's funny how people always complaining about racism and all of that, and they were saying that in the late 90s, basically most people from the islands did to Africans what white people are doing to everyone. So it was just like it was a passed down. But she was saying that for someone put a joke in the comments saying fast forward, the same people that was making African jokes are now going on Ancestry.com to find out that they're 30% Nigerian, 51% Nigerian, and they're all calling themselves Oluwa Michael, Oluwa Jerome.
Has anyone ever said you act white?
Yeah.
Have you ever had that before? That whole phrase where someone says like,
unless someone you talk white or
but this is where it comes in, not where I'm from or where if I'm around here. So see, I'm here with you boys now, and then somebody go, you act like a white. It's always when I'm with me, like, you know what I mean? I'm like, fucking hell, it's not me. I was born in Dublin. Like,
I don't know behave. I don't know it's different. And I find it funny because when people say that, they usually say it in a negative way, meaning that black people act a certain way, even though our behaviours are not homogenous, or talk a certain way. They say you're acting white. And I always say that, what is acting white or acting black? So for instance, you're black, you're just there's no difference between me and you. Just that you was born in you're not born but raised in Dublin. Okay, which means that your upbringing was a bit different, the environment you're in was a bit different to what I was. So maybe I was raised in South London, a bit rough. And no, funny thing is that Dublin's still rough, but it's a different rough.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, it's not like there's London rough, but there's still gangs and there's still whatever happening.
Still people want to fight you. I think what I've learned over here is kind of like there's a gang culture where like you walk in an area in Dublin, like the old lady on the street will fight you. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of everybody's ready to fight, and you have to like stand up to it. So it's like you can never back down, and nobody goes to the police, and it's kind of just a little bit different over here than there.
When I moved here from Nige, I used to speak more properly before I started mixing in the ends. So when I moved it, like remember in Nigeria they teach English as first language in school. So you're taught to speak English properly. So I said to people, by the time I got to year 11, my spelling became poorer, my English became poorer because I started trying to blend in with everyone. I started mixing slang with English. Then as I got older, I started speaking properly again. But it took a while to find that balance of being able to switch in between.
How would you say you've experienced racism? And I'm talking to you because you're in the middle. You know, like Mickey Mouse, black and white. I mean, like you're got the best of both worlds. You know them ones, innit? Now, my thing is that
he always does this, innit?
what racism would you say that you've experienced in the fact that where, like, for instance, you're biracial? Is it fair for me to say that? Yeah. So obviously you've got a bit of the black side, a bit of the white side.
Yeah.
Now, being in the middle, which is maybe say a good and a bad thing. What racism would you say that you experienced?
You get it from both sides. So there's a lot of situations where like you can't really sit with the white people, for example, because you don't look like them. And the same way you can't really sit with the black people because as much as you might be involved in their culture and stuff, you're still not like them. For example, in London, like you got a group of white people, a group of black people, but there's like kind of very few mixed people because it's still kind of like a newish thing because like couples would never really used to get together like biracial and stuff and have like kids that look like me. So there's a lot less of us. So like when you start to go to school and go to these social environments, you get it from both sides and you can't really sit with anyone.
Let's try and analyse and say, so when you say from both sides, so let's talk from the black side. So what kind of racism would you say that you experience, or what kind of prejudice or ignorance do you get from the black side?
So you'll get something like, for example, if let's say I was with my black friends, one of them got called like a nigger or whatever. Some of them might throw away where like, oh, you can't speak on this issue because as much as you're here with us, you're not one of us.
That's bollocks. That's so annoying, that is, man.
But
I
you get
have
it.
mixed race girls, bro, so I'm fucking...
Okay, so then from the white side, what would you say you get from the white side?
From the white side, it's just like, you don't look like us, you're one of them.
Yeah, okay.
So basically you say you're like in a demilitarized zone where you're like...
Yeah, but a lot of mixed race people kind of have like this depersonalization where they don't feel like they can sit with anyone. They don't feel like they're part of any group. And it's very isolated, especially like in these social groups where people just kind of click together. Like Africans stick with Africans more time because it's natural.
Now, would you say you identify now? Do you identify? You know, all the pronouns are now. So would you say that you? Now, often when we talk about people who are mixed race, biracial, we often refer to them as black before we call them white. Yeah. Not that it matters. If you want to identify as black, white, or avatar, pick your color. It doesn't matter. Would you say you identify as black?
Yeah, identify as
100%.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't identify as white.
No.
And my question is, why is that?
Everyone's telling me you identify as dark skin.
And I find that interesting. Now I'm going to say whatever you want to call yourself, you can. Now I'm going to disagree with what you say. But the reason why I'm going to contradict myself and say that if we was going to get attacked, and let's say we was going into Birmingham or any kind of, or Dublin, any kind of predominantly area that might be seen as racist, if a group of white people were going to come and attack us and beat us up for being black, I'm going to say that he's going to get attacked too. Right? So I'm not going to assume that the guy's going to be like, no. He's like Brenda. He's just like Brenda. He's alright. He's Mum Brenda. I'm assuming that we're all going to get beaten up. So I guess I'm going to contradict myself and say, yes, you're right in calling yourself black. However, that sprinkle of snowflake, you know, that sprinkle that's in there, isn't it unfair to disregard that side and just say you're black?
It's not a case of disregarding, but I would say like...
And you're not complaining about we don't video any sets. You're going to see me do my set now. Go on, I can talk, carry on.
So I would say... The reason why I would identify as black is more so towards like...
not being accepted.
Do you know what? It could be a lot of things, to be honest, but yeah, it's my because I've grown up in
due to people you hang around with the most.
Yeah, because I've grown up in London, for example. So I've grown up with people that look like Gabriel, look like Chisel, but I've grown up with a lot of people that like white from everywhere else. Whereas you grew up in Dublin, you're the only black. You're the only black person. So when you're going out and like you're speaking to people, you end up kind of just inherently picking up certain things like that certain people are saying just off the basis of your environment. So I guess when you ask that question, it kind of comes down to like, what is it to be black anyway?
Now, that's a good question, and the reason why I hate the term black, because when we look at where the
Meghan
term black
Markle,
comes from,
the Meghan Markle and the Harry, then the baby, that's fucking, you know what I mean? It's got a little dash, and they're like, oh, there's a black baby.
Got a bit of salt in there.
And everybody's like, there's black people and fucking.
But there's a problem with us though, yeah. When it comes to issues, some of us pick and choose when someone can be black. Yes. I hate that.
That's exactly what happens to mixed race people.
Man.
Yes.
So for mixed race people and people that are biracial, you're only black when you're winning.
Yeah.
When you're winning.
So like people like Malcolm X and everyone, like
even Akala, the way they herald Akala, for instance, Akala's biracial. But even look in history and look at all the people who fought for our freedom. The majority of them were biracial. I'm in the video. I'll give you the names so you can put the names up. The majority of them were biracial. Don't get me wrong. We had a few of the Kunte Kentes fighting with their feet chopped off. We had a few of them, but the majority were, and that's why with the term black, as you said, I don't think we should even describe ourselves as black. First of all, I'd rather go with phenotypes. I don't think we should call ourselves phenotypes, which is basically.
I'm in here learning. I didn't think I was going to come to Croydon and learn. Hey, what though?
I don't like this guy came in shorts. I don't like the way this guy came in shorts. You know? I came to our palace. How do you let this guy come to our palace? No, he came to our kingdom. You came to our place. You said you got biracial kids.
We can't do back there.
Okay, now.
You're gonna finish us.
What would you say? So in raising them, okay. What difficulties would you say, or what challenges would you say you find when, like, I don't have to explain it. So how do you raise them? Do you
I raise them like basically. I'm winning in life now. So I'm setting up. I'm trying to set up a life where they don't have to do fucking anything. Get them into the best schools. Get them into so they don't kind of where people are educated. I feel like the most racism happens where people aren't really educated, into it. Because in Ireland, I went to the rough places, but I also went to the kind of posher places as well. And you could feel just a difference in.
Would you say a lot of the issues we face are actually class issues and not race issues? And we confuse them for race when it's actually a class issue.
It's class. This is why, when you do get the people that win, people are I don't mind. People are marching on the streets. People are doing everything. The real change happens. I think you need the real changes that happen out here. The power. The powerful. And what class are they in? They're in the top. So it's about us trying to get there. You know what I mean? For me, I know I'm trying to build out where then I'm gonna have a fucking building one day and I'm gonna have loads of staff. Do you know what I mean? That's my power. That's what I'm gonna do. But a lot of people are always.
So when race issues arise, say in the house, there's a conversation, for instance, or let's say amongst. Say, how old are your children? Sorry.
3 and 11. 2 and 11.
So the 11-year-old would be old enough.
So
the 11-year-old would be old enough to understand what's going on right now.
Yeah.
So when you have those conversations, how do you speak to them about racism, or is it one of those things that you think not to avoid? Because so how do you find the balance where it's a case of where you're being open and honest at the same time, letting them understand that, mate, as much as your mum is it white? Yeah, as much as your mum is white and I'm black, you're gonna find some challenge. So has he ever come to you with racism?
She came the other week. I think a white girl in her class said she had BLM in her TikTok.
Okay.
And a white girl in her class went, "Why do you have Black Lives Matter in your TikTok? You're not even black."
Wow.
Oh, as in to your daughter?
To my daughter, who's mixed race.
Oh, was that a black girl or a white girl?
White girl said it. That you're not black. And then she was like, and then she went, because my dad's black, and she went, you know what I mean? And it was just a little bit of a weird one. But I don't that's kind of the only thing that's ever been said. I always make, the thing about it again is when I went to get her school, I went to a school that was mixed. You know what I mean? I'm talking about, there was Iraqi people, there was people from all different places, so she wouldn't feel any type of way, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because,
What area is the school based in?
Barnes, man.
Oh,
you know that's what I'm saying, bro.
Yeah.
I'm not messing about, bro. Barnes.
Yeah, West London.
That's what I'm saying. Hey, that's what I'm telling you.
I'm surprised you didn't walk in there wearing a Rolex as well. That's a big gold chain, you know.
You live in a predominantly, I'd say, a middle class, upper class area. Would you say that it's a good or a bad? Because sometimes when we're raised in the hood, people say that when you move out the hood, you're selling out, you're not trying to, be true to who you are. But my thing is, why make all this money to stay in the hood?
Exactly.
That's something I don't get.
What you can do, I think, when people start saying that, is you can try and pump money back in, but you're meant to. But because you're trying to make it you're trying to make a better place of it or something like that. I think that's what they say. But for me, I'm trying to fucking buy a fucking mansion in Windsor, blood. I ain't fucking about, bro. I got a bit of money and I was gone.
I'm trying to be Legoland every day. Teacup rides.
That's around here, bro.
You're trying to be great.
What are you man on, bro?
Really?
Why? How many reps? I think you give him some.
Look at the relax.
Man came in the shorts. Just 5. Came in the shorts.
I'm not strong like this, bro.
Palace.
Put record on that, bro.
Nice and easy workout.
Yeah, anyone can do it.
Get it off me. Serious face.
Fucking hell, bro. That was hot. That was a bungalow.
I was just yesterday as well. You need to do this.
Yesterday as well.
Yeah.
Oh, what's he done? That one. He done chest yesterday. Yo, that one. Do you want Olympics for shot put or what, bro? Come on, bro. Big chest. Bully chest.
There's no money in it.
How do you get the shot? Get the shot put, mate. Get the shot put. It's a market that's not been tapped into. Forget boxing. Forget soccer.
He looks like a shot putter, bro. Would you ever think about it? I'm telling you. Don't listen to any of these. I'm talking Olympics. Could you imagine going to the Olympics? I am fucking telling you.
When there's beef on the road. Jaheim, call back the beef. Jaheim, go to get the shot.
Stones. Back to beef with Stones.
Hey, Paul, you're driving inside. Of all things, you know. What would you say you was better at? Rugby or football?
If I played rugby from the start, I'd be international with Ireland. But I think I left the two like football money.
I said the same thing to someone. Like I felt like rugby came more natural to me.
Yeah.
Because I remember the first year I played for Old Duns, I played half the season, and I finished with the highest try amount.
That's what I'm saying.
And it felt like second nature because the footwork came from basketball.
Yeah. Rugby was great. I just think you just have to kind of stick with it.
I think it's not even only that. It's due to, you see how you said your kids are in school in Barnes. If I didn't grow up in Brixton,
Yeah.
I grew up in Barnes.
Yeah.
And I made the transition a bit earlier. Let's say like 5 years earlier.
Yeah. It's different, isn't it?
It's different.
It's different.
Because you start to realise it depends what school you went to. Massively.
Skills.
Yeah.
So this is where I'm coming.
Everything in life.
This is where everyone's like talking about skills. Like that's why like my daughters, I got like Barnes and I have this skill in my head and it costs an absolute fortune. But I'm like, if she goes to that school, it's the opportunities that she's going to get from being in that
And
school.
even networking for you when you start meeting parents and people in that school. People don't realise.
I'll put it this way, when I was living in Ireland, the best school, so the reason why my family live in Ireland in the first place is a school called Blackrock College, probably the best secondary school in Ireland. And they saw my dad when they were in Nigeria doing a missionary, and they're like, if your kids come over, we were all meant to go through. Francis didn't make it over there. I got expelled in the first year, but that school there was an absolute rugby school. So that's where you kind of learn. I was in a class with, you know Sudocrem?
You almost died though.
Do you know Sudocrem?
Yeah, it's in a great tub.
Yeah, my friend owns it. A boy in my class.
What do you mean?
A boy in my class, Killian Stafford. Yeah. He owns, his family owns Sudocrem. I didn't know, right? So I was living in London and I had my
walking through school.
No. I was in London, my first kid, and he goes to me, you've had a child now. You know I own Sudocrem, yeah? So if you need anything at all, I'll sort you out. And they started sending me bags of stuff. I was like, what? So all this time, they didn't say anything. But then
I'm gonna die. I'm dying.
But could you imagine?
Hey, what happened? You were so strong last week, you know?
I usually don't do incline, so.
There we go.
But I'm just saying.
Make the excuses, bro. Someone that answers us.
Oi, hold on, what happened? There's something wrong with it. Let me get out of that, bro. I'm not doing 2 reps of that. Bro! You lot are trying to
importing culture to you. So you're Nigerian, right? Yeah. Okay. Do you speak any language? You speak Yoruba, Igbo,
I speak English.
So your parents are from where, sorry?
Sorry?
Where your parents, what tribe?
They are Igede.
Oh, that's like the Audi of Nigeria.
Benue State.
The Lidl of Nigeria. That's cool. Hey! That's cool.
Hey! You know that?
That's fine.
Hey, you two have to fight.
If you're not Yoruba, or you're not Igbo, technically, I don't know. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. You're the ones, the Michelle Williams of night. It's cool though. The backup dancers. Is my mic on?
Did you hear what James said?
What, James, you pointed as well.
Wait, the other Nigerians, but Igbo Yoruba.
I actually thought there was only 2 kinds. I didn't know there was more. I didn't know there was more than one Nigeria. What the? I just heard Yoruba. What is that?
You gave your kid Nigerian names, right?
Yeah.
So what very strong ones. The one that the tongue has to.
Iwunyo
Fantastic.
and Omari.
Okay, good.
Yeah, come on, bro.
What's their first names though? As in like what are they called in school?
Esme and Leah. I'm Paul.
So why didn't you give them the ba? Why didn't they get the ba? The ba.
What do you mean, ba?
Why didn't you give them the?
Because I don't even know what this fucking ba is. What's the ba?
What's funny though is that we're talking about names. But I see what's funny is that even looking at class, even when applying for jobs, I tell you the craziest thing is this.
I told you what my cousin did, didn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, he changed his surname to Mackenzie.
What? And start getting jobs.
Because his surname's Lawal.
Yeah.
So he's got 2 Muslim names, so first name and surname. Because his dad's Muslim. Yeah, his dad's Muslim. He was like, right, he used to cause issues with him traveling as well. So anytime he used to go to America, he would get stopped all the time because of Muslim. But he's not a Muslim. But he's got 2 Muslim names.
Putney as an address for your children when growing up. Just having even the school they've gone to. People will look at this CV and be like, oh, something high school in Putney. Oh, something college. Automatically their head is in a good space.
So we was talking years ago of how I became self-employed. So it's like, my first name is 9 letters. My surname.
What is your first name? I can't Chisel, bro.
Muna Chisel.
Hey! Come on!
So my first name is 9
Well, he
letters.
wasn't getting a job, so he had to chiz.
No, you know what it is? School I went to, there was 3 of us in the same class with the same name. So my mum always used to call me Chisel anyway, so the teachers were used to that. Other boy used to be called Munachi, and the other one was called Muna Chisel. It made it easier. If not, if you shout Chisel, all 3 of us,
Fucking hell,
you know what I mean?
3 chizzes in the same class.
It was odd to get 3 of the same, because the name is
that's
not
crazy.
The name's not that big, but we just happened to be 3 at the same time, the same
Do you know
class.
what was a nice being in? Oh, sorry. Did you go to school in Nigeria?
I went here till I was 11. So what's happened now? So when I've come here, what's made me go self-employed was, imagine like even back in the little jobs like Selfridges and that, everyone's getting jobs there. When I'm trying to apply, I'll get to a second round, cut. Yeah. Then once I finish uni the first time, I'll get to a second round of a job, cut. So I'm thinking to myself, rah, maybe when my name is coming up, they're just thinking, this is going to be too hard to, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Could you imagine?
So instantly, that's kind of made me just say, you know what, fuck it, I'm working for myself.
You got to admin and HR were like,
It's not that I was underqualified.
This is going to be on.
Yeah, so after a while I just gave up and said, right, I'm working for myself. Because not that...
I kind of feel like I've never had to go for it, like, because I played sport and I've never really had to get a proper job, but Jesus, you hearing this is terrible, like.
Yeah. Are you looking to go back home and build? You see this whole thing when people say that you should go back home, build Africa, build Africa. No, I think that's a good conversation because often we talk about, you said you're trying to buy a mansion in Windsor.
Yeah.
What about
No,
how important is it?
So I send money. So that's what my mum. She has like everything set up. She has like boreholes. She has loads of charities and stuff like that. So she just tells us what to do.
Is it important? Because for instance, we call home Nigeria. If we're from Nigeria, wherever you're from, Jamaica, wherever you're from. My thing is this: is that as people live in the diaspora, when we go back. When I went to Nigeria for the first time in years, I went back in 2019-20. As much as I am Nigerian, when I got there, I didn't feel out of place. But the Nigerians didn't see me as Nigerian.
They
saw me as
yeah.
No, they didn't. Even though it doesn't matter because I know I'm
What do they
Nigerian.
call us, Francis? The white.
Oyibo?
Oyibo, they call Oyibo critical. Johnny just come. There's so many different ones. Now, I think how important is it to build back home? And because I see a lot of people, they go and build houses in Nigeria, this and that, and they look like they're giving back. But you're building to sell on. Let's be real. Even though you are, let's just don't try and act like you're some humanitarian.
No, that's true. Me mum, she'll make me do like she's been doing it for years. So she like sends machinery over to actually build for her.
Doing your part.
Yeah. But then from me, what I do is I try and be, what do they call them? Philanthropist in a way.
Oh, those big words.
So
Oh, those Barnes and Windsor words.
Right, see that? That's straight out Barnes. You get me? No, you know that was there. Hey, that's a philanthropist.
That's the flip there.
I also, for like kids with autism, that's something that really gets to me. Asperger's, Down syndrome, I send money to them every month, and then I like send money to like a concern or something like that. And it's a percentage of what I make every month.
So you actually can give money to charity without putting it online, without showing people.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you, brother.
I can't believe this.
I know, a lot of people.
Wow.
Yeah, it's mad.
So you actually you can actually send money to charity without telling people.
Without telling people.
This is fantastic. You're allowed to do that.
People don't do it.
You're allowed to actually send money without letting the world know.
And you know what? You can. It's tax free.
Oh wow.
You can when people pay tax, you can actually write it off.
Yeah.
So you can write off your tax to the charities, and nobody I'm like, what? How stupid? Give it to the government or give it to charities?
I thought you had to like post it on socials and like take pictures with kids and all of that.
Sometimes, bro.
Okay.
So what, even shot put, bro. I'm gonna get.
That's some flies. Be like, where's cut? Throw the flies.
You got to tear my
You know,
shoes
for
a bit.
years, Red Cross, hey, the CEO of Red Cross, for years you've been collecting money for Nigeria and countries in Africa. For years, Red Cross. And Nigeria and Africa are still in turmoil. For years you've been collecting money, Red Cross. The CEO, look at my well. Where's the money going?
This is
For years!
I was giving loads of money to Concern.
Yeah.
And they're still sending me letters, but I found out where the money and how much of it trickles down. I was like, I'm not giving it to
Literally,
them.
for almost every pound I read, almost it's only about 10 pence that actually goes to the cause because there's admin running it. Listen, the amount of money that you give when you actually check these charities, how much is actually going to the cause? It's so small. That's why I don't give to charity directly. I'd rather just give. So when I go to Nigeria, I'll find something what's going on and I give directly to whether they squander it. It's none of my business. I've given. I feel better now. You know, all of the girls' hearts I've broken in the past. It's now calming down.
Broke it to what?
You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
You broke it to what?
All the hearts I broke in the past, I give away for charity, so that it kind of appeases myself. It balances out. It neutralizes. You know.
Not me. I'm a certified lover boy.